Okay, right here, I'm feeling right here in the dimple area, okay? So I'm only pointing that out because that's the joint line. If you kind of came back here and kind of find that joint line, I'm just drawing on him just to kind of, so you guys have a reference. Right here is his kneecap. Okay, now on here, this is where the fibular head's at, okay? So I'm just going to try and draw right here. Somewhere right there. So you got the patella right here. This is the joint line, and then this is the fibular head, okay? So that LCL ligament, if you were to cross your leg over right here, like this, and let your knee fall, you feel where that fibular head's at, and off of there you can feel there's going to be a striated like little band. That's your LCL. I can show you guys a little bit later if you need to. So that LCL hooks up to that fibular head, okay, and then comes up, okay? So when you guys do this, I want you guys to consider, I gotta fan this across here, but what happens is if my tape job sits right here in this bent position, sets to the back, okay? But when he bends his knee completely, now where does that tape job go? It goes further back. So what I want you to do is I want you guys to try and keep your little crisscross V X's closer to the kneecap, so when he does bend, it slides back, that it doesn't slide back so far that it's not effective, okay? So you want to kind of have his knee a little bit on the straighter side, okay? When I do this, pretend these don't exist, okay? So what I've just done is with the lateral or the medial tape job, you're going to still spray them down, two anchors right here. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to try and create an X coming across here. So two anchors. These don't exist, so pretend they don't exist there. And I'm going to try and get this one up to the close to the patella as possible. Okay. And I got to keep in mind where that joint line's at, where that fibular head's at. And so I want to do an X. Okay. So I do that, and then I just got to consider, all right, I'm gonna try and fan this out because I want to fan that area where that ligament is going to be at and what I'm trying to protect, okay? Straightening it out a little bit more. Okay, and if you don't feel like you've done enough, and so I would rather have a little bit more up here, so I could try and do something, you know, here. Okay, so what I'm looking at is these obviously don't exist because that's from that hyperextension one. These don't exist, okay? So all we're dealing with is this stuff right here. And right here is this fibular head, okay? The joint line you can see is kind of right there. And so you can kind of see where my X is in reference. If I don't feel like I've done a good enough job there, you can always add more if you need to, okay? But the only thing I'd be careful of is when you start going on the back of the calf, it can make that really restrictive and too much. So, but at the end of the day, this has to be the thing that you protect. Okay, go ahead and bend your knee, Preston. You see how that tape drill kind of slides back just slightly? So that's why you want to try and keep it to the kneecap as much, close as possible. So again, then after I get done doing all these X's, you have to do at least 2 X's. I would recommend 3. Okay, 2 to 3 X's. Or if you did 2 here, you could do 3 this way if you wanted. I don't care. And then you got 2 anchors. Okay, so a real quick repeat for the lateral collateral or the medial collateral. You're gonna spray them down, but you don't have to do that in here. You pre-wrap from base of the calf, come up to mid to upper thigh, and then you would create your 2 anchors down the bottom, top. And then you got to keep in reference your patella, your joint line, and fibular head, and you're trying to create an X over that area to try and protect that lateral collateral ligament or the MCL. Okay, and then after you're done with that, then you do 2 anchors and 2 anchors. So I'll repeat that with the tail end in here. Again, be aware of the calf. Don't get too tight, have them flex it. If you tell them every time to flex the calf, and they don't do it, then at least that's what you say, okay? And when I do this in real world, I probably want to tape this thing because you can kind of see how it's starting to slide already. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead and pause it.